All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Scaling Secrets. Today, we're going to cover something really important in high ticket. Obviously, if you're running Google Ads for high ticket, which is why you actually need to have a 30-day rather than look at 7 days. Okay. So, I've actually had this once in one of the high ticket clients where they thought a campaign was doing nothing. It was generating zero sales for 2 weeks, and then boom, insane ROAS. I don't know, maybe 10, 15x ROAS. And yeah, just really sustainable campaign after that, right? And so the thing is for high ticket guys, you don't want to look at a campaign from a 7 day period, right? Because for high ticket, it's not going to be a quick sale. It's not going to be just, one or two touch points. You're likely going to need a much more significant amount of time, sometimes even lasting months. And so again, you want to absolutely look at a 30-day conversion window. And so if we have a look at how conversion lag actually works, right? So let's say a customer clicks your ad on the first day, and then 18 days later, they buy your product, right? So Google actually attributes that conversion to the first. What happens is, let's just convert, 18 days later, right? It doesn't actually get recorded because your conversion window is 7 days. And so your algorithm basically almost doesn't know that it happened. And so your ROAS is not going to show that conversion or your CPA, right? And so it's going to really hurt your overall tracking. You see what I mean? Because you're missing out on very significant conversion data. Anything with high ticket, especially when you're starting out, you need every single conversion to be recorded as much as possible. And so what happens is, let's just say, you get a sale March 1st, right? But you're using 7 day window, right? If you check that performance of that day, 5 days later, it's going to show zero revenue, right? But let's just say you're actually using a 30-day window, right? And you get a conversion 20 days later. If you look back at that performance of that day, it's going to actually show the conversion actually happened. And so you can see here why this is absolutely crucial for high ticket. Personally, we like to always look at conversion value by conversion time, which is actually when the actual purchase happened. And so this, obviously, I've covered that in a previous video as well. But basically, the purchase actually occurred rather than the click that led to it, right? Which is a lot more meaningful from a brand standpoint. And so, how do you find what's your actual conversion lag as a brand, which is actually super interesting, super simple, guys. All you have to do is just segment. If you go to, on your campaigns, view, you'll be able to segment by conversions, and there's an option to actually see the days to conversion, right? So it's going to show you actually how many conversions happen within less than a day, within 2 days, 3 days, and so on, right? So this is really crucial because you want to actually know how long on average it's taking clients or customers to convert, right? And so you could also see a attribution report as well if you go to goals and measurement. And then if you look at attribution, you could actually see the path from, clients or customers interacting all the way to converting. Okay. It is, if you have more than 80% of conversions happening from the first day, that means 7 day conversion is fine because you don't have such a massive lag. However, if a lot of it occurs after 7 days, then you need 30 days. How is that going to impact you? Let's just say if you have a 7 day window, but a lot of your conversions are occurring later than 7 days, right? So first of all, your channel comparison is going to be absolutely skewed because you're going to look at performance from Meta, and then you're going to see that Google Ads or demand gen, let's say if you're running that, is going to take a longer time, and so it's going to make it look like it's not doing much, and it might actually make you pause the campaign, right? There's so many instances where you look at YouTube or demand gen, and you're like, what, this client that used to think that way, and wasting a printer or a tool to scale past your revenue plateau, right? So that's one thing, right? Obviously, you're going to be underreporting conversions because you're missing out on a key amount of conversions that could have happened later on, right? And again, you're messing up smart bidding because you're not giving the algorithm the full power it wants to give you that performance that you're looking for, right? And again, even more dangerous that you could actually kill campaigns that are working well and you shut it down just because you didn't see the conversion. I've had a lot of instances where I'd actually pause a campaign and then go back and look at, conversion value where it came from, and it comes from pause campaigns. And so that's why, like I said, you want to give it the right amount of time. And so in general, it's always good practice to look at performance from a 14-day period because, even though 7 days is the absolute minimum, again, there's always a lag, guys. There's often a lag in a lot of cases, right? So you want to look at things from a longer time frame to get significant data for you to be able to assess things properly, okay? And so again, you don't want to look at things from a day perspective, obviously, and you don't want to kill campaigns too fast, right? Solutions 8, obviously, you probably know these guys. They're absolutely huge in Google Ads space for a very long time. They recommend you wait 2 to 3 weeks apparently. So, which I agree with. A lot of times you make changes to a campaign and it absolutely tanks, but then you give the algorithm the right time to adjust, and boom, you're actually hitting the right ROAS at much higher spend, for example, right? And so for PMax, how does this change things? PMax, again, is very kind of omnipresent type of campaign across many different Google platforms. And so again, different platforms has different conversion lags, right? Shopping is different to YouTube, to Gmail, to display, right? And so again, you want to give it 30 days to really be able to assess things properly, because then you have something like shopping, which converts a lot faster. It's more, comparison, high intent, right? But then on the other hand, you have something like YouTube, right, which is a lot slower. Then again, you have demand gen, which is in view through conversions, generating a lot of top of funnel interest. It's going to take a while to actually convert a lot of the cases. And so demand gen, you definitely want to look at a 3-day window with a 3-day view through. We talked about view through conversions and why that's super important for demand gen, right? And so demand gen, obviously you can run it through images, but overall, most of the time you run it through YouTube. Again, time period possible. Okay. Search, overall, I'd say in most cases, it's really good practice to have a longer conversion window, and especially for high ticket. Now, if you're running high ticket and you want to scale your brand to hundreds of thousands per month while maintaining super high ROAS and chilling on a beach in Spain this summer, feel free to reach out. We'll get your ads live within 48 hours. You'll have access to some of the best management out there. So that being said, hope all is well on your end, and let me know if you have any questions.